जन्मभूमि है और जिस पे अभी मोहर लग गई। हमें न्याय प्रक्रिया पे भरोसा है, जो भी होगा अच्छा ही होगा।
हम तो यही भी हमारा सवाल है कि जो लोग जो है इस दुनिया में हैं, कुछ लोग नहीं हैं, कुछ लोग बुजुर्ग हैं, तो कोर्ट उनका फैसला करे, वो चाहे उनको बरी करे या उनको सजा दे, ये काम सब जो है वो कोर्ट का।
All right, are we going to hear the verdict anytime soon? Let's cut across to Rahul Srivastav, who's joining us from the special CBI court in Lucknow. Rahul, before we go back into the history of this case, are we expected to hear the verdict anytime now, or is it going to take a while?
Preeti, I had spoken to some counsels as far as the court is concerned and some officials in the court, and what they had said told me that under section 433 of CRPC, there is an amendment under which all the accused, 32 of them, have to file a surety bond, 50,000 rupees, in case they are going to get sentenced today, appealing or not appealing against the verdict. And that process is a bit of a time-consuming process because all of them have to present their surety bond before the learned judge. And that is why what sources had told me in the morning that there could well be a 1.5 hour period which might be taken as far as this process is concerned. And then only the judge will get down to the business of pronouncing the judgment. It's a very small courtroom, Preeti, where arrangements for nearly 22 people were initially made with social distancing between the chairs. And that is why the entire media has been pushed out, and there is a large barricade which has been thrown around the High Court. You can see that all the journalists and the media personnel have been caged in. The vehicular traffic too around the old High Court building. Initially, this used to be the High Court building, but it has now shifted to a much grander building on the other side of the town. And the police has blocked off the entire area. Sakshi Maharaj and some others have just gone in. Now, what is also interesting, Preeti, is that among these 32, there are 7 different kinds of sets of charges which have been framed. Say, for example, an LK Advani faces charges of conspiracy, unlawful gathering, hate speech, or speeches which create animosity between two communities. Whereas an official like R.N. Srivastav, who was an officer posted on that day in Ayodhya, is facing charges of wrongful omissions. Wrongful omissions, but they didn't do the duty of stopping the car sevaks very well. And he has also been charged with a conspiracy that he was part of a larger conspiracy hatched by the BJP that included Kalyan Singh and others. Since there is an involvement of different sets of charges among different accused, that also might become a time-consuming process as far as the verdict is concerned. But I think eventually the key factor in this case will be a case which has gone on for 28 years. 17 of the accused have already passed away, waiting for a final trial as far as this case is concerned. The key is whether it was a spontaneous act or whether there was a conspiracy to bring down the Babri Mosque. If the CBI, as an investigating agency, has successfully done it, then there is definitely trouble for all the accused, including LK Advani, Murli Manohar Joshi and others. If the conspiracy charge doesn't get proved, if the attacks on journalists and others does not become part of assault, then they will be charged under very small charges. They are all bailable. And what one can say is that the demolition of Babri Mosque, seen by lakhs of people, impacting the social fabric of the country, change the course of politics in the country, will become a spontaneous act by some unknown people.
Well, it's interesting. History has its way of coming about and be remembered. Rahul, we're going to come right back to you. We're going to cut across to our panelists as we await this verdict. 28 years in the coming, the enormity of this verdict cannot be missed, especially how we've talked about the legal angle, but also let's now talk about how politically it changed the history or the course